Hi Libras, this is your reading for June 2017. I did a previous video. My dog was barking, somebody was at the door. I didn't hit pause, I hit stop, so it would have been two parts. So I'm just going to start the video over again. I will repost that first part for those who want to hear it. For the lady that had some stomach issues, you might want to listen to that. But this is for everybody else. I'll just do it whole so it doesn't cause issues, but I will post the first part there in case some of you guys want to hear it. So let's get into it here. So we're going to try to cover your work, relationships, and home. In relationships, everything in a relationship, kind of like your relationships will intertwine with your home and your work. Relationships come in all forms. I'm going to get tired of saying this, but you know, there's conditioning that people have out there. So relationships come in partnerships. Partnerships come in the form of parents, siblings, spouses, children, co-workers, grandparents, everybody, you know, friends. So take what you feel applies to you in that area. You're going to have to kind of like work it for yourself, right? Like, so what we have in relationships is what you're going to have to do, the universe is going to ask you to do, and that is the death card. So represents Scorpio. It's a death and rebirth phase, a transformation phase. You're going to have to bring this on in your relationships. For some of you guys, you're quite burdened. This is what's going to come in. There's going to be a straw that breaks the camel's back type thing. You know what I mean? Like, in Libras, you guys very rarely let this happen. You know, you could be like Virgos and be like, okay, I can fix this. You know what I mean? Like, this is not asking you to fix anything. In order to fix it, you're going to have to let it go. So, like, that could be an old way of thinking in relationships. It's not talking about like ending a relationship. Some of you might have to. Some of you might be holding on to somebody that's no longer in your life, and you're going to have to let that go. That's what the death and rebirth means, right? But in some avenue in your relationships, and we'll get more into the cards, you're going to have to change the way you're doing it. And what I'm getting is changing the way you're looking at yourself. Because you're quite disappointed. You're quite distraught right now, too. Some of you guys are quite distraught at work, it seems. It's coming in at work. You might be changing jobs. You might have to change a job. There's a chance some of you could lose a job. This also could be, like, in one of the videos I was talking about, upgrading for you guys. You might need to upgrade your education, or get some more knowledge in the field that you have, right? Like, you're doing something and it's got to stop in the way that you're handling your relationships. And as a Libra, I'm going to just assume that you're being too people pleasing, right? Like, Libras, you got to get in tune with yourselves here, your energy, your personal energy. Other people's energies are really interfering with you. You got a lot of stress happening here. Stress can lead to anxiety. It can also create, depending on how stressed you are, you're not sleeping and stuff like that. That can create delusions as well, right? Like, because your mind's not able to think clearly. So that's coming through. That's important. At work, it seems like some of you are you're traveling for work, right? Like, so some of you I'm seeing like going back and forth. Some of you could be like, I get this a lot with Libras too, the housing, like you're a real estate agent and you're like, you go to multiple houses, right? Like, you got to show houses and stuff. So you travel a lot in your work. Some of you guys, I'm getting, we got the Three of Pentacles here. So what I'm getting with that, and we have the Knight of Wands. So like in show business, I'm getting show business with the Three of Pentacles in the world, like, so that's out there. So it's show business, you do, or entertainment business, and like, you guys are disappointed It seems like you're disappointed. We have the Five of Cups here, like, and this is like desperation too. The desperation's coming in your relationships though. So Libras, it's holding everything in. You're holding everything in, right? You can't do that. Like, we went over this last month in relationships, that if there's a situation that's occurring that's unhealthy, then we need to get that third party involved with both parties in there. Like, both two people, like, that are having the issues need to see that third party and sit there, right? Because we can't point the finger at other people's thinking that they're the problem. Sometimes we can be the problem too, you know, and we don't realize it. We need that person to correct us. And it's not a comforting feeling when that happens, you know, like it's a death to an old cycle. So, how can I deal with, okay, so projection. Let's talk about projection, okay? People bring up projection all the time, right? Like, okay, and what is projection? Projection is mirroring. And what is mirroring? So mirroring means, I'll use myself as an example. Like in a past relationship I had, okay, like we're on good terms too. Like we're good friends. We were childhood friends. So there was like a bond, right? But what happened in that relationship, and it took me some time to pick up on that, was like it was a vicious cycle of us mirroring, projecting to each other. And projection is mirroring. So when he would get silent on me, and I would speak up and say, okay, well, you know, like, I'm hurt, this is what I'm feeling, and he was upset about something that I had said because I didn't say it in the proper term, you know, because I am Sag, I'm quite blunt. He would punish me by giving me the silent treatment, right? So he created the same circumstances that I created, you know, like, and it's not who created it first, but like, he could have started it, I could have started it, I don't know. Eventually I picked up on the mirroring though. So like, we were probably soulmates, right? Because soulmates come in to teach you these lessons. And because it was a past life connection too, past life, when that comes up, that could mean somebody you knew from childhood, and then, you know, in your 30s you meet them and they're there to teach you that lesson. And he was a Sag too, so like both of us were learning lessons, right? And so when he would punish me by, you know, making me feel like not valued, then I would have to project what he was doing to me, right? Like, 'cause eventually you get pushed to that point where you're like, okay, enough is enough. You're not listening to me. You're just like, it feels like you're using me or whatnot, you know, like you're doing this intentionally to hurt me. But then verbally, when I would speak up, you know, because you're angry, you say it in an angry manner, and then what would happen is he would project the same thing back, but in the opposite manner. So it's mirroring, okay? So projection is mirroring. So where I verbally express it, he does the same thing, being silent, right? We're doing the exact same thing in two different manners, right? So that's projection, right? So him doing it makes me mirror it, and then I project it back to him, which makes him mirror it and then project it back to me. We're doing the exact same, like we were doing the exact same thing to each other, back and forth, and the cycle didn't end. You know what I mean? So what it's saying is that this month that there's going to be in relationships, okay, you're gonna have a situation like that, and you're gonna have to put the burden down. You're gonna have to realize that, okay, it's not him or her. I'm part of the problem too, right? It takes two to tango. Always takes two to tango. So you're gonna have to realize that on your own. Okay, so triggering. All right, there's triggering happening. You're not speaking up and voicing it. Okay, so that needs to stop. We need to break the cycle, the pattern. All right, you're gonna have to apply that somehow in your relationships. Self-doubt too, though, in your career, right? We need to remove the self-doubt in your careers. It's coming up. There's some, like, you're desperate to get out to the public, to be a star. You want to be a star, some of you guys. It's like, you got to keep putting in the work, it's saying, all right? You will be noticed. This month it's going to come in with the world, like, you'll be noticed. Like, you'll be noticed for what you do. You might have to change the way you're doing things, though, like, in order for it to happen, because we have the Death card here. At home, what's coming in is we got the Queen of Cups. So this is a quite nurturing, this is a friend. This will be a friend at home. For some of you guys at home, you might have 2 kids. One could be a fire sign, one could be a water sign. If they're not, just one's more outgoing and active, where the other one's more introverted. But this, at home, you could be moving, you could be getting a new house, you might be having to move. I'm seeing this, like, you're starting a new cycle, Libra, and you're really fighting it. You're really fighting it. Like, some of you guys, it could be that you separated from a spouse, and the spouse, like, it's the finances. You're like, your life has to start over again, right? Like, you're starting from scratch again. And if that's the case, Libras, you guys are the best builders. You're your partnerships. You know how to build, right? The thing in relationships are different than partnerships. Relationships are, there's an exchange, right? Partnerships, there's an equal exchange. There's a purpose. In partnerships, it's 2 people that are healthy and willing to work on the partnership and grow and advance together, right? Like, it's a journey they're taking together. They're doing things together. For what's best for you is best for me. What's best for me is best for you. You know what I mean? Like, they ping pong off each other. They guide each other. They help each other. One's weak, the other one's strong in that area. You know, it's like the moon and the sun, constant back and forth. One shines and one doesn't, and then the other one shines when the other one doesn't, right? Like, but there's a constant in relationships, though. Okay, like, you might be, for some of you singles, you might be getting into relationships instead of partnerships, and in relationships, it's different. Okay, a lot of people don't realize this, but relationships are an exchange. It's kind of like a pimp and a prostitute. It sounds weird, but it is, right? It's an exchange for, I will, like, it's an exchange for, like, how can I put it? It's like sex for money, you know what I mean? Like, I'm with you because you can provide for me, and I will give you sex, and the other person withholds emotions, you know what I mean? But, like, you knew that when you, like, the person will notice that when they walk into it, that it's an exchange. They will only give if they're getting, you know what I mean? Like, I will give you this if you give me that, right? So, like, if you're giving me sex, then yeah, I'll stay in your life type thing. You know what I mean? But it's not a partnership. You're not building together. Like, it's somebody wanting something, but then you're going to have to give them something to get that something. So it's basically like a dog doing a trick, and you get the treat for the trick. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So you need to be aware of that. A partnership is an equal give and take, right? There's equality in partnerships. Libras, you guys, that's what Libras are about, is partnerships. It's not relationships, right? They're the bridge builders. They build bridges, right? That's why they make the best, like, you guys would, mediators, you know, like, they build bridges, you know, like, where 2 people can be blind to their opinions. A Libra can see both sides of that and be like, okay, this is where you guys connect, where you meet. You know, like, you have this opinion, you kind of have a little truth to that. This guy has this opinion, he has a little truth to that. You know what I mean? But in some cases, Libras can be like, okay, you both kind of have the same perspective, you're just not saying it correctly. A Libra comes in and they build that bridge and then help both parties notice. You know, like, you guys make great mediators. Great counselors too. You might want to get into, like, if you're looking for a new job industry, because we have the 5 of Cups here, it's like desperation. Maybe some of you guys don't know what your life purpose is or whatever. So, like, counseling would be something good for you guys. Human rights, mediators, like, Libras, you guys build the bridges. So, like, what I said there, you might want to, like, start looking into trying to get into something like that. Because, like, if you do get into mediating, people, it seems like you're going to be, like, looked at as in awe, you know what I mean? Or even, like, what you're doing at work, you need to stop separating things and making the connections, like, at work. It's like separation, connections. Like, that's what you're good at, connections. solutions. Libras are very good at solutions. It might be saying that you might have to start looking for more solutions instead of problems, right? You're looking at problems instead of solutions. So also what I'm getting is like Libras, there's a sense here you need to be appreciative of what you have. I'm getting that message is coming through. Like, and so what does that mean? It means like if you're constantly looking at the horizons and trying to be what other people are, or do or get what they want, or like looking like, I want a bigger house, I want this, I want that. Okay, well, you're never going to get it. Like, I hate to break it to you, but you're never going to get it until you appreciate what you have. Once you become appreciative of what you have, you don't need more, so you'll get more. That's how the universe works, right? So it's like when you're single, all right, you want a relationship, you're not going to get one. Yeah, you might get, like, you still have the opportunities. Of course, you'll get the opportunities. Life is full of nothing but options and opportunities. But you're not going to get the proper opportunities, you know, like, because when the thing is, like, when you're firm and secure in yourself, that's when the universe just throws like everything and anything at you, and you'll be in awe. Like, you have the world here, you'll be in awe. Like, you won't even believe the amount of options that you have, because you're so, like, you're content with what you have, where it's like, you know what, you know, I might live in a 1-bedroom apartment, and, you know, maybe I can only save $100 a week, you know, but that's way more than, you know, I could still do a lot with $100, you know, like, I can, you know, in a year purchase this or purchase that, you know, like, you need to be grateful for what you have, because there's people that don't have that. And just once you learn that, then, like, the universe is going to bring in everything and anything you can imagine. And you'll just be like, as a Libra, you'll probably panic and and be like, what the hell's going on here? There's too many options, I can't choose. And that's okay, Libra. You're going to get to that point. Like, it's saying, if you can learn to value what you have and be appreciative of what you have, because what you have is way more than what you actually need. You know, you have loving friends in your life. If you separated, you know what? Who cares? You still have people that love you. You're gonna find somebody else. This is not the end of the world. You're building again. For some of you guys, well, then you're gonna build a firmer and stronger foundation, and it's gonna be your own foundation. You didn't build it with somebody else. You built it by yourself. So your foundation is firm. And as a Libra, you guys build, like in Virgos, the firmest foundations. Like, it's foolproof. You know what I mean? Especially with the Libra, it's foolproof with the Libra if they're acting from their healthy and their higher elevated perspective. Some of you guys could be moving though, homes. I would look into, it's gonna be fast too. Some of you guys might have a fast move. Ensure that you're looking at the property though. There could be some issues in the details in anything that you sign. I'm getting that too. Some of you guys, there's somebody at a distance. I'm getting, we have this guy is travel, usually distance, different cultures, and the Knight of Cups, that's over water. I'm seeing like somebody lives overseas, over water, or could be in the same country, just different provinces. We have the Queen of Cups. Some of you guys do have 2 children and you've separated. Oh, I'm getting such, like, you really miss them and stuff. Some of you guys, the mother might be keeping you from your children. And if that's the case, then, you know, like, I would recommend talking to her about it at first. She's coming up as the Queen of Chalices, so, and her back is turned against everybody. You're quite desperate, it seems, Libra, for some of you men, that, like, she's emotionally manipulating you. In some cases she is, so then you need to take the proper route and go to the court systems, right? Like, you need to start documenting stuff. Like, if she's and you need her to document it too. You both need to be documenting stuff, right? Like, her signature should be on the paper when you get the children, when you pick them up, that she approved that you could have the children on this day. Get both of you to sign that paper, and then when you come that day, and if she hasn't given you the children, you have documentation that she said you could see the children, and you came and you've made it. Because the thing is too, okay, I'm going to say it is quite unfair in marriages when they split up, that the females get the children and the males don't. It shouldn't be that one party gets the children. It should be an equal exchange, right? And there's spite and stuff that gets involved, so the only people that are really harming and getting hurt are children, and people that can be quite selfish and put their own needs ahead of others. Libra, I feel like your only concern is your children, right? Like, so in this case, then you need to protect yourself and ensure that you can, like, when you're documenting that stuff, it'll give you the when you go to court, and if that other person is being spiteful, you're only using that if you have to use it to protect yourself and to protect the children, so you can get to see your children, right? Not to harm the other person. Like, you're not doing things to harm the other person, but you would only use that to prove to the court system that you've been making an effort, and the wife isn't, right? Like, if you're a wife and you've separated from your spouse, you need to understand your children need him. Like, they need him. They're both looking. Okay, it came like that. They're both looking out. All right, so they're quite lost. They're both looking out and up, so they're looking at you as the female, and your children are going to pick up these same actions that you're doing, right? Like, so you can't, if you're the female and you're keeping the children from the husband, you can't be doing that. That's not healthy. Okay, so put your personal issues aside. It doesn't freaking matter. Okay, what happened, even if he cheated, whatnot, it doesn't matter. Okay, what matters is that the children know that they're loved by both parents, that the children are minds and emotions are being put before yourselves. Okay, so you and him don't matter. What your differences are don't matter. You chose to have children, and when you chose to have children, you chose to give up your rights with your children, not your rights in life, but with your children. So that means that if you want to be a proper parent, then that means that you have to be a parent and be an adult, not the child. A child sits there and creates problems. You know, they don't know any better, right? They don't know any better. You're an adult, you know better. Like, it doesn't matter your differences or whatnot, what happened, or even if you can get angry at me, I don't really care. What I care about is the children in this situation, because what I can see in this situation and the energy I'm getting, it's upsetting me a great deal. You're going to create psychological issues for your children as adults. Your children as adults are going to get into very unhealthy relationships. Very spiteful and angry relationships is what they're going to get into, and it's going to be your fault. You created that. Your children are your painting, okay? So your actions have a great deal of consequences on your children, okay? You're the paintbrush painting the picture. Your children are those pictures. What picture do you want your children to be? You want your children happy? Then you need to create that situation for your children. Okay? That means that you need to show forgiveness, compassion, and kindness. That's the Queen of Cups. She's a listener. She listens to the needs of others. She provides sympathy. She provides emotion. She provides nurturing. She creates a stable, nurtured, emotional, happy environment for people. She's concerned about their well-being. Okay? So there's a sense here at home. What I just said needs to be applied at home. That even goes with your spouses. And I'm getting children though. And I was quite upset. Somebody's quite upset. And if you're a woman and you're listening to this, and your husband, you're punishing your husband, you're destroying him out of spite, and that's gonna backfire on you at some point. I mean, he's really trying. I mean, I'm gonna start crying here, because this guy is what I'm picking up is the guy, he even came back to you. He even offered to work things out, and I'm seeing a female. So you could be the male Libra, and your ex wasn't, you gotta let go, and you gotta start, it seems like you were willing to go back into a very toxic, dangerous situation to try to make for your kids, and I admire you for that. But like in this situation, that what I'm getting is it wasn't a healthy environment to begin with. You knew that, and like you were willing to bypass that just for your children, thinking it was healthier for your children, and to tolerate what your ex was doing to you. And it seems like your ex just is like being like spiteful and didn't want to like deal with it. Like you would have gone in there and you would have been basically her bitch. I'm not even gonna say it. And you would have done that for your children. So you need to see it as a blessing in disguise. The universe not like her not allowing you back in out of spite, because she's probably gonna let you back in a year or so, because she's gonna see, of course, as a Libra, the value that you have, right? She's punishing you is what I'm getting, to try to manipulate you into doing her bidding. And Libras, you need to understand with your children that they're better off with you guys separated, right? Like, and if your ex is that toxic, then your children need to be in your hands, not hers. That's not healthy. It seems like whoever the person is that's distraught over the children is the healthy one. But it seems like you're not acting healthy right now, and it's because you're aware of the situation on an unconscious level. That's tough. Yeah, okay, so we have the Queen of Swords here, and the Queen of Swords is, she's very analytical. She removes her emotions, but it's like I was saying about writing stuff down and documentation and and I apologize for the rest of the people with this reading that are hearing, but the men kind of get screwed in a divorce situation. They do get screwed, because just because they're a man does not mean that they cannot nurture. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean that they're not able to be a better parent than the female is. Quite often the females, I've seen a lot of relationships where I've seen the females are nothing but toxic. They drink alcohol all day. They're at home eating bonbons. They're feeding their kids like pre-made pizzas and stuff like that. They don't cook or nurture their children. They're always yelling at their children. And then I see the father who gets them for a weekend and who's out playing with them, sitting down, doing homework, cooking them food. You know what I mean? Like, so Libras, some of you might want to be in like counseling, and like even if you're a lawyer, then, you know, I want you to be aware, if you're a lawyer, that you have power to help the men in this situation. I'm an equalist, right? An equal opportunist. But I'm also all about what's beneficial, what's going to help people grow, right? So like, if children are in the hands of a toxic person, those children are going to become toxic people. That means that one toxic person, I'm seeing two children here, are going to create two toxic people. So then there's 3 toxic people in the world instead of that one. And if those children could get into the positive hands, then that means that the positive person is going to create a ripple effect in the world. They're going to create 2 children that have positive effects and ripple in the world and create positivity. Go out there and create change, not destruction. Somebody's creating destruction here. Okay, and Libra, you're self-sabotaging too. There's some self-sabotaging happening here. You got to get out of that. Your mental clarity has to come through here. You got to get out of this self-sabotaging. I'm like, you're going down. There's a man here who's going down, and he's quite desperate. Okay, so we have here at work, there's some trickery happening at work, Libra. So I want you to be careful of that. I want you to keep your head down and do your work. Also, Libra, this is coming up. It's underneath the 5 of Cups. It's sitting on the 3 of Pentacles. So this can also mean that, Libra, some of you guys need to be careful that jealousy is not coming involved. If you're seeing somebody get promoted, I'm seeing somebody might get promoted at work and you might want it. And you might create trickery, like you might get jealous. And if that's the case, that it's showing, don't react, don't create problems. It's showing that if you handle the situation correctly, which means applaud that person on their back, deal with the disappointment. I know it sucks when that happens, but when you deal with it correctly, then later on down the road, it's because there's a different position for you. So maybe somebody got promoted in the company, but maybe they're 2-3 months down the road, they're going to be opening up a company at a new location, and they're going to be promoting you for that new location, right? So like what it's saying is that you might not be getting what you want now, but in the long run, what you're going to get is better. So that means like the company might see you as more valuable. They might want to promote a person within the company there because it's the first company, so they can watch that person. You know what I mean? They can observe that person, but they have more trust in you. So down the road, 3 months later, when they open up a company, or even across the world, they open up in a new location. They see you more valuable, as in, okay, we're gonna like everybody's still gonna be at the original location, but we're gonna need people that know their ish at this new location, right? They're gonna put more trust and faith in. They see you as more loyal in that new location. So be patient. There's a chance here though that you could get off balance and jealous, and earlier I talked about the children and spitefulness. Okay, that's a negative. It's a negative trait that we all have. We all have it. It happens. Okay, it's out of disappointment that it happens, right? And it's also fear. We don't want to express what's truly in us, so we try to create illusions or make somebody else feel bad. We start projecting, and we don't want to do that because it can hurt your chances in the future. Because I'm seeing somebody sees a lot of value in you, but it's just not going to happen now. It's going to happen. It could be possible 3 months. I'm getting 3 months down the road. 3 months down the road. Some of you could even get the promotion this month, and perhaps in the past somebody looked over you and there was some trickery, but it's because they've seen potential in you for like another area. In your relationships, you're really going to have to work on communication. It's communication. There's going to have to be some death or rebirth going on here. Yeah, movement. There's got to be flow. We got the six of swords here. So that means that we got to leave the past in the past, Libras, okay? And we got to start going with the flow. You're going against the flow is what I'm getting. Like you're really struggling here. You're quite desperate, and it's because you're going against the flow. You got to go with the flow, and the flow changes, right? Tides change. You're going to hit bumps. You're going to hit curves, and that's okay. It's an experience. Change is very difficult, but it's progression, right? Like it's not easy to do to progress, right? And it's elevation. When you progress, you elevate. Right, so we need to elevate you. I also want you guys to look into like music and stuff like that. Like when you're feeling quite low and burdened and stuff, and you need to elevate yourself. And when I say listening to music, I don't mean listening to, I like rap and I like all music. There's a lot of stuff that's derogatory though. I'm getting that in my head. You're listening to a lot of like derogatory rap, and that's just gonna that's not stuff that your mind needs to be putting in it. Like the mind is quite fragile. What you see, what you hear gets retained whether you want it or not. So like when you're listening to music, you need to be listening to music that's happy, that has positive lyrics, that's very upbeat. It's a different frequency, it's not talking about, like multiple women, big houses, like that's ego and that's pride, right? You're never gonna evolve if you're coming from an ego and pride state, right? What you want to listen to is positive, optimistic music, like higher vibration, positive tunes, like get you going. And you need to dance around and do that in your home to elevate your frequency, your energy level, to get it up. Your energy is your energy. Nobody's going to elevate your energy. That's all you. All right, Libras. Hopefully that helped you guys out. And let's see. Yeah, the Hierophant. Okay, I pulled it. It seems heavy. I'm getting weird messages in your guys' reading. It might not resonate with everybody's, but it's going to be for who needs to hear it. The Hierophant. So with the Hierophant, that's slow, methodical, that's observing, that's sitting back, that's getting in tune with your emotions, getting in tune with your mind. What do I need? What do I want? Like, are you going back to somebody that doesn't value you? Is that really what you want? Are you really doing it for the right reasons? You know what I mean? Okay, as I was saying in the mother's case, is he really a bad father? Or is it really you that's being spiteful? You know what I mean? This is what this card is like speaking to me. It's like, it's coming to terms and realization, and you need to slow down. It's a process. Do I really like this job? Do I really want to be here? Because some of you guys, it's the job that might be doing it to you. So you have more value. there's another opportunity out there that you could apply for and do. Maybe it's not what you're used to, you know, maybe you need to go back to school, upgrade yourself, get into a new career path. But it's, what do you really need, Libra? What do you really want, Libra? You need to sit there in silence and really think about that. I would do it after dancing though. That really helps because you're elevated, right? You're not looking at things from a negative point at that standpoint. You're elevated. So when you sit down and you're like, do I really want this? And then you're kind of, you know, like when you're sad, you're like, oh yeah, I need something. But when you're positive, you're all like, nah, man, I can get that over there. You know, like there's that option over there. You know, like you need to raise your vibration before you get into this Hierophant phase. It could also mean going to church, talking to somebody at your church, whatever religion you're involved in. All right, you guys, hopefully that helped you out, and I will talk to you later. Ciao for now.